I'm like, we're dealing with this and this and this. We're dealing with, eviction notices. We're dealing with overdue bills. We're dealing with this. We're having to make sacrifices. And he's like, I know. Hey guys, my name is Diamond Opal and welcome back to my channel where we talk all things healing, faith, and mindset through authentic conversations. And speaking of such, I want to try something different, so bear with me guys. I'm such a scripted person. I'm so used to just following and not trailing off, because my mind, the way it works, I can just be here and there and everywhere else, but I just want to have a conversation. So I want to try that. So a couple of months ago, I had an incident where I had a very vulnerable moment, and it caused me to be rejected, in a sense, by someone that I allowed into my intimate space, allowed into my vulnerable moment. I knew that it bothered me. And I vocalized, I'm like, hey, this situation's really bothering me. And I wasn't sure why. I'm like, I know something's there. And so the Lord actually caused me to have a dream. I lived in this beautiful glass house, it was almost like this huge glass, like igloo style house. It was just wide and tall, and it was just completely glass. And so there are people walking in and out of this glass house. I'm, showing people around. I'm actually giving stuff away in this glass house. Like, I'm really big on plants and, home decor and things like that. And so I'm giving these plants away, and I'm like, but why am I giving these plants away, God? Like, I really like these plants. And people are in, taking bids on it. Oh, I want that. I want dibs on this one. I want that one. And so I'm like, can I at least keep one? Like, why am I giving all of my stuff away? And so after that process was complete, I come back out into the openness of this glass house. And what I noticed is on the ceiling, it's as if it was snowing. So snow covered the entire ceiling. And so as we're talking, as I'm going throughout, just showing people are walking in and out. The doors, it's like there was no door. I don't know if it was like a sliding door. And so it was just wide open. Then I guess the sun started to hit on the glass house, and so the snow melted and it became a downpour. And so at first I was worried, because I'm like, is it going to leak in? Is it going to drop in? Like, are we good inside? And the downpour just ran along the front of the house and hit the ground. And that was the dream. And so I woke up from the dream and I'm like, what does that even mean? What are you saying to me, God? And then I was listening to a sermon later that day, and the pastor said something about reputation. I think it was concerning David. And the moment he said reputation, the Holy Spirit just took over. And he started to piece together that the glass house was my reputation. The glass house was my story, my space. And the glass meant transparency, meaning people are going to be looking through. People are going to be able to see what's on the inside. And not only were people seeing what was on the inside, but I was walking people through, which spoke to the vulnerability. I'm allowing people inside my space. I'm allowing people inside my life. My vulnerability is being opened up to the world. And so as God was having me give away my plants, some of the things that I hold dear, some of the things that I'm really fond of, He began to show me that you have to let go of these things. You can't hold on to this fondness to your reputation, because you cannot protect your reputation and serve me obediently at the same time. And that was a hit, because it spoke deeply to my people pleasing and my fear of rejection and my need for acceptance. And so when God began to tell me that your life is going to be an open book, your story is going to be an open book, I was afraid. I was scared because what about my reputation? What about the version of me that I want people to see? Now people are going to see parts of me that were safe at one point, that I held dear for the sake of not being rejected, not being judged. And there was the downpour. God said that you're safe in here. You don't have to worry about protecting yourself because I will protect you. I just need you to be obedient. I just need you to be open and vulnerable. See, I couldn't control the people who were outside of the house looking in, but I was welcoming the people who were actually coming in and out. And that just speaks to this season of my life where God's like, I need you. I need you out there, and I need you telling your story, and I need you being vulnerable and open and transparent, and I need your life to be an open book. Just breathe. So when God tells you to make your life an open book, you have questions. The first question is typically, wait, did I hear what I just heard? Did you really say that? And the second question is, how open are we talking? Like open book test open? Like just flipping through the pages? And he says, yes. The way that I need to use you, I need you to be open with your story, with your life, which makes so much sense why these last 2 years God has had me in this bubble, and it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to others, but he was like, take a step back. He didn't want me working a full-time job. He said, I just want you to focus on healing. It was in that I realized just how much damage that I had, just how much trauma that I endured, just how deeply rooted it all was. And then he just started plucking it out and just started peeling back the layers and just started healing bit by bit by bit. And I felt so useless during that time. I'm just like, but I'm not doing anything. Bills are piling up. My now husband, he was the only one working, bringing in money at the time. And I'm just like, this is causing stress in so many different areas. And he's like, I know. And I'm like, we're dealing with this and this and this. We're dealing with, eviction notices. We're dealing with overdue bills. We're dealing with this. We're having to make sacrifices. And he's like, I know. And I'm like, God, but you're telling me to do this. Like, aren't you going to provide? Like, you say you're going to provide. Why are we struggling in the way that we are struggling? Because it's not making sense to others. It's not making sense to me that I'm not able to work right now, but I feel strongly that you're telling me not to. And 1 month he told me, I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to focus on being my daughter. Focus on being? Who am I if I'm not doing? If I'm not being busy or filling my time with busy work and feeling like I have to be productive and doing X, Y, and Z and bringing in and helping out. And it's like, what am I doing? Who am I if I'm not performing? If I'm not working? I already don't know who I am. This new version of me that is forming, I don't know her. I don't know my identity right now. I'm just in limbo. I am so full and so empty at the same time. Why? And then slowly it started to make sense. The damaged version of me wanted to continue to push through, continue to fight through, continue to suppress and hold on to the things that was keeping me bound to the version of me that needed to die. And it would not have been possible if I would have continued to distract myself. So God said, we are removing the distractions, and we are working. We are working on those things. We are doing the deep, dark heart work. We are pulling out things that you felt would destroy you. And I am putting you back together again. And so when I took a hit to my reputation and I was judged and I was rejected for a moment of vulnerability, God was like, I need that. I know it hurt, but it needed to happen like that because I need that. You can't try to be the one to protect your reputation. I just need you to be obedient and trust me. Those who are intended for you, those who are your assignment, those who are meant to be in your life will be. Those who are not will not. But that is not for you to try to control, try to manipulate, try to deceive by not being your full authentic self. And so I'm beginning to open up my glass house and let people in to my trauma, to my story, to my hurt, to my healing, to my brokenness. And it is scary. And so as my channel begins to shift and as I begin to showcase more things and put myself out there more, I guess I just wanted to speak to this pivot. My husband and I are in health and fitness, but the last few months I've just been strongly led to just post encouraging things, post things about healing, post things like, about just being in different spaces. And I'm like, well, God, what? I don't get it. I'm getting questions like, is this, you sure this is the direction? Because we need to be pushing this. I needed to heal so that I could help others heal because there's so many hurting people in this world. And if through my transparency and vulnerability, one person is helped, one person is left to feel not so alone in their mess, in their brokenness, in their time of hardship, time of figuring it out, then I've been obedient. The Lord had me make a post, I think it was maybe on Threads or something, and He gave me the words, rejection isn't always a punishment. Sometimes it's the blessing. And the rejection that I received when I allowed someone into my vulnerable situation was the blessing that I needed. Didn't know I need. Felt like I could have done without, but it was what I needed to break off that final piece that was holding me bound. That stronghold that the enemy had on me, keeping me from using my voice out of fear of other people's opinions and being rejected and not being accepted and being judged. And I can no longer care about that. Yeah, this one's a little different. This one's a little different, but I just wanted to say that if you can relate and you feel open enough to share, just let me know in the comments. I feel the shift. I feel the shift in God's people, just the level of vulnerability and transparency that we are being pushed to have is something that is long overdue. It's needed, and it's going to help so many people not feel so alone so that we can truly build God's kingdom from the lens of community and healed people. Because it's when you confess and when you open up and express that there is healing. So that's all that I had for today. I hope you guys have a beautiful day today on purpose. And I love you, but God loves you so much more. And until next time, peace.